Shoot, I don't have a tissue. I need to grab the thing anyway. Give me a second.
Grab the trophy while you're up.
Alright, I guess I should probably get some sort of... You can still... The stream looks okay, right? You can't see it yet. Or can you?
No, I can. I'm on the stream.
Okay.
That's good.
Fuck. Getting confused by my left and right monitors being switched. Alright, now I think I can see everything you can see. Everything looks good. Alright, now we're just gonna hang out and wait for some people to trickle in. I guess I might as well...
Right now.
Oh, it was 0 last I saw. Dang. Alright, well, in that case, everybody, we welcome you to Season 13 Player Draft. We got a few things to cover first. I saw some of you discussing in the chat already some of the recent moves that have been made in terms of GMs and positions. So I think I'll start off by just having Groff kind of cover some of the logistics and some of the more boring info before we get going. So I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, so I think the major concern was just obviously Abyss being a GM and being running back, and the potential of him switching to quarterback, which won't be allowed. So just to clear the air there, he will be playing running back and running defense for the entirety of the season. So you don't have to worry about any of that there. There's no quarterback switching, things of that nature. Kobe said that I'm whispering.
Uh-oh.
So it's whatever was on the YouTube video initially.
Alright, keep talking. Let me know if the music's too loud or if Groff is too loud. I think I turned up the right thing.
Alright. Am I saying it with my chest now or no? We'll get a little feedback from them. Wait for chat to answer.
Yeah. Ah, alright. Not too loud. We got a little music in the back, so that might be a little... I can always go higher. Alright. Alright.
So, to run back over that stuff, with Abyss being Beastie's GM, obviously he's going to be playing running back for the duration of the season. There won't be any switching or anything like that. So I know, obviously, some people in chat were poking at collusion, and they're just trolling, I think, because we're all smarter than that. And yeah, so no, he won't be able to swap to QB halfway through the season and have the best team in the league. And I don't think that was their intention anyways. Other than that, let's while we're waiting for a few more people to join in, let's just anybody in the chat, if anybody has any questions on anything or anything like that, we'll give you 2 minutes just for that, and then we will move on to the rest of the draft. Now we're also going to be doing a tentative 2 minutes per pick. Now, obviously, if you go over a little bit, not a big deal, but just something to keep us on track and keep it in line.
Anyone have any bold predictions for a #1 pick this season? Obviously, we have some mix-ups now that quarterbacks have switched around.
I mean, the #1 pick always was going to be, always will be, and it's going to be Hexy. It's just a matter of when it gets put in, but it will be Hexy.
Let's see. We're going to spoil everything for the viewers in here, I guess. Jeez.
I think anybody that knows the VFL knows Hexy was going to go first. So that's just... right at 6:30 is when we'll start.
Sounds good. Keeps throwing me off. I gotta look and see what you can see and what I can see. I got too many freaking screens going on here. Alright. So just kind of... We'll run through a little bit how this monitor to the side of me is going. So to kind of help emulate the draft order a little bit, I don't know how well you can see this here, but we just threw up quick NFL logos from left to right to down, starting with the #1 overall pick. Jaguars, Bucks, Ravens, Bills, Niners, Boys, Eagles, Chiefs, and then around and around we go. So as we start going through some of these, I'm just going to go right over here. And I will delete them round after round after round to keep up with whatever the latest team will be. So if you have any issues with that, let me know. We'll get that set up. A lot of vets going drafted. So you're thinking the rookies are coming out here. Interesting. That's a risky,
Looking at the board right now,
risky plays picking rookies.
there's the one issue I'm seeing with your draft board there, and something we can kind of just play it by ear, highball it, is it's a snake draft, and it looks like you have fixed up there.
I did not know that. Oh, I fucked it all up.
But that's fine. As long as you have the initial order and then the other one after, we can go for that. So we'll start off. So as far as first pick goes, user DM me. The first pick of the draft is going to be Hexy, best quarterback available right now. There's no reason to go for anybody else. I assume that's why they went with the Jaguars, is because they decided, they're going to get the one QB with abilities to give them to Hexy, and then they can do this. I don't know, Kobe. You're gonna have to talk to him and figure out what the hell his problem is there. That's your owner. But the first pick of the draft is Hexy. Now, we were gonna have graphics and things like that for everybody, but with all the last minute shuffling and everything like that, it was impossible to narrow down who the top first round was gonna be. So we actually have a different surprise coming after the first round. That's going to be league related, and it'll be something nice for everybody in the league. So for the first pick, always has been, always will be, it is Hexy. So with that being said, Riggs is now on the clock for pick number 2.
Two minutes on the clock. And
so thinking about Riggs, obviously recently he got Champ as his GM. So and we'll touch on that too. So
a little bit of
him
drama,
and Finn-
yeah. What happened with all that?
Yeah,
I mean,
him and
you
Finn
start
had
selling out your old
amicable
teammates.
fallout.
Cheat once
Yeah,
a cheater, always a cheater. You know what I mean? And let disloyalty enter the family. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Once he gets blood on his hands, he can't stop killing. So Fig and him actually amicably parted ways. Neither of them wanted to be in that situation. They didn't, work well, and they figured before the season, better to end it than mid-season and cause issues. So then Champ actually stepped up to accept the GM spot as Riggs. So I would assume here the no-brainers, he's going to go with Farrah, pair him with Champ, make sure that line's notched up, got him down. But looking into the draft more, I wonder who Riggs is going to end up picking as his quarterback now that he's no longer playing with Fig. So that is a last minute turn that he probably doesn't even know who his quarterback is. It's probably just whoever's available at the time.
Right. Yeah. It definitely all these last minute shakeups, like you mentioned earlier, with our end of things. It's kind of threw everything for a loop. I mean, we know Riggs. We've played with Riggs. We were playing with him, talking to him about his team the other day, and I didn't see any of this coming. Like, it was never in the forecast. We never expected any of this. So it's definitely gonna be interesting how some of the quarterback shakeups are gonna kind of change everyone's game plan moving in here. So
and the pick is in.
it is in.
And I mean, as you can assume, exactly the same way we predicted. The first 2 picks here were chalk. It's going to be interesting with the Ravens going forward, seeing where they pick, just because you really have no idea what the rest of the board even is going to look like. I mean, by the time it gets to, High Walker or even Ace, it's like you just draft best available and hope that everybody meshes well, because quarterbacks are slim pickings this season. Yeah, and they're, it's going to be a good opportunity for a lot of other guys to start showing out and seeing really what they have to work with as far as their quarterbacking skills. So maybe we could have a new contender for quarterback of the year this season, or the stats can be distributed differently. Canadian Bacon used to be life insurance, now it's health insurance.
Like B was saying in there, I mean, maybe with some of the unknown quarterbacks, maybe we'll see some rookies get picked up a little earlier. Maybe people go reaching for a position, even if it's a player they don't quite know. So, maybe we'll see some new heads popping in here. We got a little white box there. What's going on with that?
Let me click off there.
All right, there we go. All right, so I'll set the timer for number 3.
Yep. So now Pucci's on the clock here for pick 3. I don't really know what direction. I assume he's going to go with a quarterback, but the last slate of the quarterbacks, I think it's really all up to preference and scheme. So maybe he'll go with a Warpath and pair him with the Ravens because he's,
He's
really
more of a
solid.
mobile. Yeah.
It's his favorite team. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, like you said, I mean, it's, some of the attractions kind of lost because we all know quarterbacks are getting ripped off the board as quick as we can find them here. I know, I mean, like you said, you talked about Warpath a bit during the draft, so I think that's probably the obvious choice here. But as you said, with so many quarterbacks, it really comes down to he might have played one good game with someone new last night and thought, you know what, strike while the iron's hot, stick with a hot hand, let me pick him up. So we could see anyone here. And with a little over a minute left, we're winding down now. How early do you think we're gonna switch off quarterbacks? What a pick? What round? What prediction do you think we're gonna go there?
Farrell was the first non-quarterback selected, but I was just to pair him
Oh, I thought it
with
was my
Chance.
my fault.
But after that, I think we might see quarterback throughout the entire first round.
That's what
I'm
that's why I wasn't
guesstimating.
expecting a receiver at all. You didn't, I just assumed. Sorry, Fuego. I didn't know the game. It happens. What we
It's
learn.
just
We move on and we learn.
it's like there's peanut butter and jelly, there's lotion and jerking off, there's all these things that go together. Champ and fair go together like that. So you get one and you have the opportunity to get the other, then you kind of have to go that route.
All right. I mean, as you said, they got a running back already, a quarterback already. Makes sense to throw a receiver up there, round things out a little bit. So we got about 10 seconds
Oh
left on
wow.
the clock.
So the pick is in now. And this one, some other people might have seen coming. I didn't personally, but it makes sense. Just round out that top line, make him, one of the most formidable lines in the league. It looks like Pucci went with Timo, who is a receiver.
Timo,
Um,
wow, two receivers back to back. So maybe our predictions here at quarterback heavy was a little mistaken. What do you think's fueling such the receiver rush here?
um, I think it's just a lot of people kind of underestimate with maybe not as many good quarterbacks being in the draft this season. A lot of people are probably just looking ahead and thinking, well, why don't I solidify my defense? That back-to-back defensive captains being picked there. So I'm assuming they're solidifying their defense, making sure that they can, stop these not good quarterbacks that are inevitably going to be playing in the league.
Right, right. So we got quarterback, running back, receiver on there too as well. So it looks like Jags are the other ones who didn't load up on a full lineup of positions at least. So I'm interested to see if we get another receiver here to match the Ravens and Bucks strategies, or if we're gonna see people jump back to the Jaguars quarterback first hunt.
Yeah, I mean, Timo's one of the best DCs in the league, and pairing him with Nate and Hoochie, I assume they're going to be paired together. I know Nate can call defense, but it just seems like that line would be too good not to put them all together, especially with the Ravens. They probably wouldn't lose a game if I had to guess. They'd be one of the best lines, so
Well, I mean, they
that
would
makes sense
eventually have
for
to
that.
run against us, right? So let's not. I mean, let's not throw
Well,
anything out there. That might be
there's a
that
good
might be
chance.
one loss. That might be two losses. That might be who knows. So I don't
There's
want
a
to
good
say they're
chance we
gonna
end up
be
with each
undefeated.
lose.
Well, in that case, I'm picking up a win every week. You're gonna be a
Um,
mercenary of the year, OBJ style.
and the next pick is already in. Beach mode, quick on the trigger. He knew who he wanted. He must have had a pretty big draft board, so he went with Wace. Now Wace,
Waste.
another QB. Wace is a guy that I don't know a whole lot of, but I do know that he's touted as one of the better QBs in the league. He was one of the ones where I wasn't sure if he'd go as high as the Bills or if he'd fall as low as the Eagles, but he was a first round guy the entire time, no matter what. It was just a matter of when and where he went. So, I mean, this works out, pretty well. Beach Mode seems like he got his guy. There's two quarterbacks on that roster now, which is one of the things that, you're looking for, especially when you have Josh Allen like that. You just want to make sure you load up the QB position, and he did exactly that with Wace. So next we have High Walker on the clock.
All right, with a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. We'll see how quickly this first round runs through. We had a decent clip at the moment. So, all right, so we got two quarterbacks, two receivers. No running backs quite yet. What defense position does Wace and Hexseed play there? Do we have another? And Fuego, for that matter. Do we have any
It's
information
all
on that?
flexible. They all sign up
Okay.
for multiple positions,
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
it's just
Okay.
maybe slide in wherever needed.
Understood.
Um, I can imagine that Farrah's going to end up playing wide or linebacker or DB, and him and Champ will switch off, and they'll probably get a D lineman for their line.
Okay.
Wace, I'm checking right now to see where he plays on defense. But if anything with all these quarterbacks, most of them, it's like I'll play wherever on defense as long as I got the rock in my hands on offense. It doesn't really matter. A lot of them are fill players, but
Gotcha.
a lot of them also are, some of the better quarterbacks in the league are the best linebackers in the league as well. So,
Gotcha.
and the next pick is already in.
Alrighty.
So we have
So with the
Kai Walker
ahead.
and Ibuprofen with the fifth pick in the VFL draft. They have selected Grandpa Warpath.
Warpath. All right. Ended up going a little later than originally projected. Didn't quite. I don't know. I wonder how he feels about not getting the Ravens. I wonder if he knew this was going to happen. I wonder if he had a little bit of hope that he might get picked up there. Maybe he had his heart broken a couple rounds ago. Interested in see how
I
that's
know
affecting
that
his mood.
Walker, they have good chemistry, and they're guys that have played with each other pretty frequently. Warpath's probably just from when I drafted him early on, he's one of those guys that he doesn't want to be picked in the first round because he doesn't want to let you down, but his
Okay.
skill is
Okay.
that good to where he's worth a first round pick, especially when quarterbacks are as low as they are. So I expect him fully to bitch a little bit about how Brock Purdy throws the ball, but also to go out there and get the job done.
Gotcha. I mean, one more. I mean, any quarterback for the Niners is probably going to have a few of those complaints loaded in their pocket, and I certainly can't blame them. So, sometimes you got to pair the best actual playing quarterback with the worst VFL quarterback and hope things work out for you that way. Just got to game manage and play a smart game, turnover free. That's what it comes down to. So up
Okay,
next, still on
and
the we have a pick it in.
the pick is in for Ace, and we got a lot of shit for this one, but
Uh
he ended up
oh,
taking Kuro, the guy that we we list him in
Crow.
S tier in the D line video. Might have been a troll, might not have been, but he, I mean, I guess it speaks for itself, right? He's the first D lineman, true D lineman taken here, and I assume his prowess on the defense is why he was taken. So they just went out, they got their guy Kuro, and he's a you knew that he was going to end up going to this team. I didn't know how soon, but he wanted to make sure he locked down his guy early.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so it's not like we raised a stock with the tier list or anything. I don't want to take total credit, but I mean, if you wanna thank us at the end of the season for getting taken in the first round, I wouldn't let it go to waste. And so with that, we now have the Eagles on the clock. Let me reset
Yeah,
the timer
yeah,
here
Fork.
for what
If
it's
you're not
worth.
on the D line tier list, that might be because you sign up as multiple positions. So there's so many people that sign up as multiple positions, it was impossible for us to differentiate which list to throw you on. So that's why people who sign up for multiple, unfortunately, just didn't make that tier list video because we'd have to put you on every single one, and we would just kind of we wouldn't really know what to say about you. Not you in general, but just everybody with multiple positions. So we slimmed it down to people who sign up for one single position. F tier though, as
Oh,
Painkiller says, he was an F tier.
I'm so disappointed in that video that broke on us, man. That was gold. That was content gold. I was looking forward to that
And the next
dropping.
pick's in.
All right.
The
And
next
it
pick is
was
in,
seventh
and the
seventh pick.
Eagles.
Who did they
Yep,
pick?
seventh pick of the draft, the Eagles, and Mr. Ohio and Blunky select DTM Kool Aids.
Kool-Aids. All
Now,
right,
Kool
I'm a little
Aids is
behind on
one of
my.
those guys
Rip my
who
shirt.
would have been probably top 3 pick if he was a quarterback. He slid to 7th, switching to receiver, but I think that's what he was looking for. Normally, he plays quarterback and he's really good at it, but he likes the Eagles. He found something here, and Blunky and Mr. Ohio went out and got their guy first. Who I is going to be calling the defense for that line.
Gotcha. Kind of because as you hinted a little bit there, we're seeing a few quarterbacks switch to other positions. Makes you wonder how much the kind of desperation for quarterbacks in the league have been making them switch off to other positions so they can get with their lines and their teams instead of getting picked, number one, number two, three overall. They might be able to kind of drop the draft and get with the team they want or the group they want. So I wonder how much that's affecting any of these position switches.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I think that there's a good chance that that's exactly the reason for it.
so we now have the 8th pick on the clock for the Kansas City Chiefs as we wait for the final pick in the first round. Let the suspense build.
And I'm interested to see who Beastie goes with here. He's got Abyss, as his DC, I assume. So he'll probably go out and just get the best quarterback available, if I had to guess.
Have any ideas who the best quarterbacks available currently on this list are? I don't think I have a full
There's
lineup to look at.
we're you're looking at like guys like Orby, um, guys like Sacrifice, um, Black Super Saiyan, maybe to Accountant, great player, really good D lineman. So
Right,
it's really
both
all
up
that
there.
middle tier quarterbacks are starting to make their way to the top just because of this.
Right, right. Seventh punt block. Still not drafted. School you not up there, huh? Well, you just got to keep on watching. Maybe someone will make a trade. Maybe someone will make a crazy trade with someone who's already been drafted. I don't even know if that's in the rules, but just keep on believing. Keep on holding out hope. We got 30 seconds left on the clock for the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, and the Chiefs actually submitted a double selection because they
Oh,
draft
right,
twice in a
because it
row.
switches around. Right, right.
But they submitted them both at the same time. No deliberating there. They knew who they wanted. So with the last pick in the first round, they ended up going with IR Brady, another guy who
I.R.
he's won
Brady.
he's won plenty of times. He's a perennial player out here, and honestly, they're just collecting all these guys that used to be quarterbacks that are taking a switch to a different position. And I think it's going to work out well because if you're good at quarterback, usually you're good at every other position. I'm not, but I'm also not good at quarterback, so works out that way for me.
I think
But
that's
yeah,
right.
so they're just getting the vets on their squad, switching up positions, kind of seeing if they can run it back for the one time. And that concludes the first round.
Deal with that. All right, so we're gonna hold off on the second pick for the next round then. Build the
Yep,
build the mystery there. All
yep.
right.
So
So with that, we're gonna enter kind of impromptu little break here after the first round. Let the second round build. Let owners have a little time to catch up for what happened there. As Groff mentioned, we have a few announcements to make. I will let him kind of go into the weekly show concept we're working with, and then I have a surprise to take out as he finishes announcing that. So I'll let you start things off.
Yeah, and the way he said it, it sounded like his surprise he was taken out was a little scandalous. But what we're doing here is we're announcing our
Might be.
weekly show. So once a week, it's looking like Sundays right now. We're going to be uploading a weekly show where we have guests on there. We break down all the games coming up, all the games from the past. And we're going to try and keep it fun, lighthearted, but also, we're trying to get better with it every season or every week of the season. And also, what we'll be doing is this season, I know some of you may know I've teased that we're going to be 3D printing trophies for the winners so that you can get an actual physical trophy for winning and not just something virtually. And so, right now, what we're going to be doing is unveiling the first trophy that Jake has put together for us. And Jake, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so I'm gonna present you a draft print of the first MVP or actually, I think this is actually just the Super Bowl trophy. Sorry, I misspoke on that one. So when it comes out, it's gonna be full color. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a physical object to show on all trophy releases, so I don't get the hopes up too much. But I do present you the season 13 VFL Super Bowl Champs Trophy. I don't know how close I can get here. Hold that all the way up there. So at time of trophy award, this football will be brown with some white laces, and the rest of this will have a nice marble finish to it. But you can see it's a nice trophy. We just wanted to let you guys know that this is something we're doing. This isn't just, some lofty promise we're looking to give out. This is going to be awarded number one to the owner of the Super Bowl winning team. And then we're also working on creating some either smaller, more customized individual player trophies to pair with it as well. And then, as he mentioned, week after week, we're going to go through some different, rookie of the year, running back of the year, things like that. And we're going to kind of unveil all of our trophies that we're going to hand out. So we're hoping you look forward to all of those. We're going to keep working on it. You might see some discussions and polls in the Discord about, voting for the favorites, so we can kind of narrow some of those down. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy the future unveilings. And I think that about sums up our little break here before we round up into round two. Unless you have
Yeah,
anything
so
else to bring up.
no, I mean, just we're always going to be looking for guests to come on the show, whether it's owners, players, anybody like that. We want to do a segment where we have a guest on, for 5 to 10 minute window during the show, and just so anybody that's got something to say, good, bad, all the above. If you want to talk a little bit of shit, do whatever you want to do. We're going to make sure that we allow slots for everybody on there. And the one thing we're going to really try and highlight this season are the rookies. So any rookies that want to come talk on there, any rookies that are, posting crazy stats, be sure to kind of put your name in the hat for that. And then also, while you're at it, anybody who has clips or anything like that, we can throw up montages on the show as well. So pretty much all things media that you guys are interested in, feel free to reach out, and we're going to try and to accommodate as best we can.
Right. Kind of as he was talking about, the videos is a big one. I know something I really wanted and hoped I could put together was a bit of a highlight reel for some draft picks. But the amount of time we had, it was hard to find highlights before the season started. So once the season starts, I'll be popping into different streams, different videos, and kind of, catching some highlights of everybody and throwing those together for our weekly shows. But like you said, anything you can send in is extremely helpful and will definitely save us a lot of time and only improve the content we come out with. So, yeah. I think that's about all.
All right. And for the first pick of the second round, the Chiefs selected Gun Strip.
Gun Strip, I think. That's an unknown name to me, I believe.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's anybody in chat has anybody they know.
Boo! We got some booze. We got some booze. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
We got some tomatoes thrown at Gun Strip. I don't know if anybody in chat has any information on him, or if he was a player that had a gamer tag switch, or if he's just a new guy. But if he was new, he wouldn't be taking him this high. I assume.
That is a very early pick if he's a rookie. That's Orby. That's definitely someone's second guy. It very well could be. I don't know. Maybe we got some.
I mean,
yeah. Maybe we have our own collusion going on over here. I don't know.
Yeah, I've not heard of him before, so there's not a whole lot for me to say about him as I'm looking for him on the player list here to get his position.
Beastie's over there saying it's Orby. I don't know if that's true, accurate. I don't know if we have a source for that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that makes a little bit more sense. All right, so Orby, they picked a QB, which I expected he was going to do here was get Orby's probably the best QB available right now. He's a younger guy, but he's got a lot of talent. He's going to, be sure to bring a lot of wins, especially with Pat Mahomes. I mean, you get a good QB like Orby and Pat Mahomes, then you also have Beastie there. That's already shaping out to be one of the favorites as far as rosters go. And nobody expected anything else because that's just how Beastie operates. He always puts together a quality team, and I feel like he typically does it with the Chiefs as well. So great pick here, and the second pick of the second round is already in as well. And Mr. Ohio selected Sacrifice.
The Eagles' number 2 player pick.
So Sacrifice won us a Super Bowl. I mean, he's big play sack. He went out there.
Can't argue with his results, man.
Yeah, and I know that was a long time ago, but I played with him in this game as well, and it seems like he's still super competent as far as QB goes. So I expect Zach to go out there and get some wins, especially with Jalen Hurts. I've seen him do way crazier things with way worse quarterbacks. So this is a really solid pick, and I think the Eagles got exactly what they wanted here.
All right, not bad. So they picked another quarterback linebacker. They got 2. It definitely seems like a popular, like you mentioned, position kind of duo there, quarterback linebacker. Definitely a common one. So next will be the Cowboys that are on the clock.
The Cowboys have submitted their pick.
All right, don't even need a timer anymore. They're flying off the board. All right.
The Cowboys with their second pick, they went with Crow first, and Kobe thought that was a pretty dumb decision. And here, what they came out with is they're going for D-line U because they drafted the accountant.
Wow, it's a battle in the trenches, man. I'll tell you, it'll make or break a game right there. Definitely an interesting strategy we're not seeing anywhere else on the board. This could either be a very good or very bad play, but nonetheless, it is bold, and it's making a statement on who he wants to be as an owner. What are your thoughts on this pick?
I mean, they got the Cowboys, so they have one of the best D-lines in the game as it is. And accountant just recently made the switch to QB. He's he's good at QB. He's only going to get better just because he plays the game a lot. He knows what to do. And as far as the accountant goes, he's one of the best D linemen in the game. So playing this team, no matter what line you're playing, is going to be hell.
It's going to be a rough one, especially for some of these teams on this list without a very strong offensive line. So next on the clock would be the 49ers.
and they have already submitted their pick.
Jeez. All right. I'll just start the timer for the
So
next one.
the 49ers have selected Fear Painkiller.
So that's what, pick 12 in the draft?
Yep.
Painkiller.
Now, Fear, another really good player. We talked about him a little bit
Yep. Whichever the
on
rankings
our
was.
tier list. Uh, so it looks like Highwalker and ibuprofen have a plan they're going with here, and it seems like he shot that pick in as quick as possible. So I assume they know exactly what they want to
Gotcha.
do.
Gotcha.
This is another D lineman, so it looks like the Niners also have a great D line, so they're just really trying to utilize the team that they drafted best.
Makes sense.
And it looks like, the teams with good D lines are drafting high on D lines and other teams aren't as much. So playing to your strengths, drafting players for your team, not your team for your players. And, that's what makes good owners.
Absolutely. It's what makes these an interesting draft as well, as we see some of these strategies change as we get down to some of the later drafted teams. So on the clock now are the Bills with about 55 seconds left on the clock. Currently have 2 quarterbacks and a running back. Makes you wonder if a receiver's coming off the board soon. They also don't have any D-line unless Waste happens to play D-line, which I do not know.
And he's the pick is in for the Bills, and he wrote a little soliloquy for us here to read. He said, "I'm taking the one and only, the man, the myth, the trading his team away legend, Lucky."
Lucky, the man, the myth, the trading his team away legend. Love to hear it. Love the little addition to the draft. We appreciate you out there. All right, so what do you think about that? The man, the myth, the legend. What were you think that's a fitting title? You think they're,
Yeah,
throwing some fluff out there? Think they're
yeah, no,
glazing him a
Lucky's
little
one of the
bit?
more
What's going on out here?
Yeah, he's one of the more passionate players in the league,
All
and with
right,
that comes the
I
highs
can
and the
respect
lows, and the
that.
lows for Lucky are low, but the highs for Lucky are real high. So let's hope he doesn't have the power to trade his team away this season. So let's hope he just goes out there and wins some games with Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean that's 3 quarterbacks in the top, and then on the 4 players. The first 2 picks were both quarterbacks for the Bills. So it's
It's a good
interesting.
strategy.
Especially being the Bills with Josh Allen out there, it's definitely an understandable pick. Right. And
Yeah,
so
I
with
mean,
that, the Ravens are now on the clock.
and as far as Beach goes, he's super level-headed guy. He came in with a plan. I'm sure he had a big draft for it, and he knows exactly where he wants and what position. If somebody goes away, he's going to get another guy. Lucky is a good QB. Waste is a good QB. Beach he's proven himself. So they already have their QB room full. So now it's just about time to attack those defensive coordinators and start getting into those more complementary glue guys that are going to keep the lines level-headed.
Right. Still got about a little over a minute for the Ravens. We got a little bit of time. What do you think they're going to start doing here? Do you have any idea what Hoochie and Nate
Thinking
are up
it's
to?
pretty much going to be quarterbacks for the rest of the way
Yeah.
here.
I mean, they already got a
At
running
least for
back
the
and a
next two.
receiver, so that
Yeah,
would make
for the next
sense.
two teams, I'd be surprised if they weren't quarterbacks. So while they're waiting to submit their pick, I'm going to go through here and clean up the rest of the players that are still available.
That sounds good. I should probably try to clean up my little freaking very not done properly board here. Maybe.
Some quarterbacks still on the board that are worth taking a look at. They've got D-Rock on there, good QB. Black Super Saiyan, he's a good QB. Not as confident as he should be, but he's a good QB. Yeah, let's see who else is on here. I know we've had a lot go. There's not a lot remaining. So it really is starting to get into the situation of, I just got to pick whatever's left and hope that I can make it work.
Ravens. Bucks. Sorry for the kind of helter-skelter draft here, guys. We'll, not super proud of it, but we're going to keep building up our media capabilities here, and we look forward to seeing what next year's can possibly become. Once we have a good backlog of all these highlights and videos, I think we'll be able to achieve what our dreams were.
All right, and the pick is on. They went with the guy we were just talking about, Black Super Saiyan.
Oh, Black Super Saiyan, right onto the Ravens. Why does that seem... Something seems up about that, but I won't say what, so I'll leave that be. So Black Super Saiyan, quarterback and D-line. So they have 2 D-lines, 2 linebackers. What are your thoughts on picking Black Super Saiyan?
He's a great dude. I've never had any problems with him. Black, he's always been, he's super easy to get along with, level-headed. He's a
Okay.
chill guy. He's gonna be able to get along with anybody. At quarterback, you just got to get a little more confidence, and he's a good quarterback. I know they used to meme him for being the seam god. He says his offense is a little more prolific now than it used to be. So we'll see that. And he's one of the better D line. He doesn't get enough credit for how good he is at D line. So he's the guy like accountant where the QBD line might start being more prevalent as we go through because like you were saying in the tier list, if you know how to chase the quarterback, you know how to evade the guy chasing the quarterback, right?
Right, you like to hope so. All right, so with that, the Ravens are officially done with their pick. The Bucks are now on the clock.
And the Bucks have submitted their pick.
Quick and easy.
They went with Mo Carbone, another
Mo
quarterback who I forgot to
Carbone.
mention before, but Mo's been a quarterback in the league for a long time. He's, there was one season where he was the most, out of this world. He played to his absolute ceiling. And there's other times where he plays down to his floor. So Mo is one of those guys that can really end up, making a break in a team, right? So if you get a good solid two guys with him, he's going to play well. If you get guys that are going to give him hell, he doesn't do as well. So now we have the last pick of the second round here.
All right, looks like Painkiller joined the stream a little late and found out his position there. So welcome to the 49ers. Fear, we look forward to seeing what kind of stats you can put up on that D line. And with McCaffrey out there, I'm more interested to see what kind of running stats you're putting out there. You have no excuse now. So whatever excuses you're coming into the season with, you better throw those out the window. This is all on you.
And the pick is in for the last pick of the round. Rounding it out, they go with Eat My Glaze. Okay, so we're gonna get a mouthful of semen here and eat some glaze from our friend Neil. And he's changed his name a bunch of times. She Love Neil, King Logic. He's been in the league for years, and he's a great player. So Eat My Glaze is the first pick or the last pick of the second round, and they also submitted their first pick for the next round as well.
All right.
So they went with Eat My Glaze there, and then who is listed as wide receiver D line. So good luck trying to get pressure with that Jaguars D line. If anybody can do it, I know it's you, but that's it's not fun, as Minotaur could probably attest to.
It's I'm not the best D line, so maybe you can accomplish what I struggled with. But I'll tell you what, it was definitely my worst stat season of my young VFL career. So I don't wish that upon you. I hope you can change tides a little bit, but it can definitely make for a long season back there. I'll tell you what. They don't have many superstars on the D or really the receivers. I don't know if they've really gotten any abilities yet either. So.
And then the first pick of the third round, the Jaguars select TP Braves, a quarterback, filling out their quarterback room.
DP Brave.
So now another thing to look at is, if somebody's got a quarterback deep in the draft that they're waiting on, any of these owners can switch off of a quarterback, right? You can't switch to a quarterback, but you can switch off a quarterback. So that allows them to potentially put themselves in a situation where they think they have three guys better than them and they can call some defense and things like that. So although his quarterback room is full, there's a chance that he could go out and get a different one. So with that being said, the Bucks are on the clock. Riggs' third pick.
All right, let's see what Riggsy can pull up for this third pick. Do you have any secret insider info we should know about with this one? We don't want to spoil anything too much, but you have any idea of what his draft strategy is tonight?
I would assume quarterback. It's just the smartest thing to do. Getting Champ was pretty big for him because otherwise the quarterback room is going to be weak and the draft's not deep as is. And the pick is in, and Riggs has selected me.
Ah, Meow Groff, drafted to the Buccaneers at quarterback.
I think.
How do you feel? How do you think they feel? What are all your thoughts going on right now? I mean, you were just selected in the VFL as a presumably starting quarterback linebacker. What's going through your head right now?
I think it was a reach.
Honestly. Okay, way to be confident. Way to throw that out there. That's a way to start the season strong.
I mean, last season I won one game. I think it was a reach. I mean, Riggs, he was gonna try and get me regardless, probably just because we always play together. But we're not playing on the same line this season, so I was, I was open to playing anywhere with anyone. I think he got me early just because quarterbacks are scarce and he doesn't have another pick for quite some time coming up here, so he wanted to lock that up before there's nothing left. But I don't know. We'll see how well I can do with Baker. I couldn't do it with Trevor Lawrence, so we'll see.
Right, right. Well, we start filling out Riggs' squad there. Up next on the clock are the Baltimore Ravens. Get rid of these guys. That's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I assume they'll probably go quarterback too, because it looks like everybody else.
They're flying off now, huh?
Yeah, they're flying off the board, and when it gets hot, when the iron strikes, they got to get after it. And I don't know as far as other quarterbacks go. Taking a look at the list right here, there's Be the Reapers
Pork.
on the list.
Pork's getting porked over there, man. He's struggling.
Shadow's on the list. I know Shadow's a good player. A lot of people have been playing against him, saying that he's been playing really well lately, but he's still on the list. We got and this pick is in. It's not a quarterback, but it is one of the league's most beloved players, and he's been active in chat all night. So without further ado, the Ravens have selected Woody.
Oh, that is not who I thought was getting dropped here. Maybe that is his different name. I don't know. So Woody getting drafted by the Ravens. I can't even tell you what number pick it is anymore. There's so many people up here.
Nah, doesn't really matter.
I just like to announce it. It sounds better. How do I fucking know?
Woody says not
2,
again.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So that's what, 19?
Sorry, Woody.
So 8, 16.
I know
that can't be right.
You probably weren't looking forward to, again, whatever it is again, but you're going to be on a strong team here, so I don't think you have anything to worry about.
So up next on the clock are the Bills with the 20th pick. If I'm counting wrong, sue me.
Oh, running back DV. My mistake.
Why is my mouse broken?
No, as far as quarterbacks go, like Smith is up there. I know he's been in the league for a while.
You're not on a 1 minute because I keep forgetting to set these. So 55 seconds on the clock, awaiting the Bills' 20th pick in the VFL player draft.
And although Woody is super familiar with Keaton Mitchell, apparently, school you. What is your gamer tag? That way I can let you know if you do get drafted. But the pick is in for the next, and the Bills end up going with Paid Doe, who slid a little further than I thought he would.
Yeah, I remember he was pretty high in our rankings. I remember that.
He's a good guy, vibes guy. A lot of fun to play with. We were playing with him and against him the other night, and he's just he's a good dude. So he'll like using James Cook over there. And this is just a solid selection. Beach mode continues to take best available, in my opinion, and it's a strategy that really has no flaws.
All right, school you. Enjoy getting back to work. We'll let you know if you get drafted. If I see you on here, I'll check out your Discord. I'll shoot you a message while you're at work. We'll keep you in the loop. We hope to see you up here. We'll see how things continue. I'm certainly nowhere near coming off the board this round or next, so I'll be here a while as well. So don't even worry about it. And so with that, the Bills have made their pick. The 49ers are on the clock.
And the pick is in, and it's funny because last season when I was an owner, I unexpectedly actually broke up what this team was supposed to be, and it looks like Highwalker went out there and he made things right by not only myself and his team and Warpath, but also by his next pick, which is Brisket.
Brisket, a name that rings. I think we all heard Brisket a few times.
He's been in the league for a long time. I mean, when we first joined back in Ned 22 with the Browns in the AFL, he was our owner, so he was the first point of contact we had joining the league since the old VFL. So
and the most success we've had since entering the league. So amen to him.
Yeah, and that was back when Shig was on the team, so we learned a lot just playing those guys. But he's gonna end up being paired up with Warpath, I assume. So hopefully those guys have a good season. He's got a great. I mean, he gets to use Christian McCaffrey, so there's not much you can complain about there.
It's a good setup. It's a good setup for sure. And speaking of Christian McCaffrey, knowing Christian McCaffrey's on that squad, we now have 3 running backs drafted to that team. Not a single wide receiver. I wonder how much of that was intentional based on that player choice. Be interested in see when we start seeing some receivers drafted to utilize their in the air weapons as well. So with that, the Cowboys are now on the clock.
Now, I think because you can change from receiver to running back, I think they're just going to get a bunch
That's
of guys
right.
that mesh well together that are
That's
all
fair.
just good Madden players, and then they're just going to try and put them together that
Play
way
it
based
out
off
and
of what they
see.
have.
Right. Running back receivers are very easily switched back and forth, so that makes sense. So now we got the Cowboys ready. They got 2 quarterbacks, receiver. Let's see what's coming off the board next for the Cowboys. Oh, I forgot to keep counting. So you know what that is. I think 23. Jam to some good old lo-fi. Lo-fi rock and roll.
This is the first pick where we've actually had somebody take the entire duration of the.
Yeah. I wonder if they're freaking out over there. Maybe they wanted brisket. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe. I mean, I don't know who else would want to play for the boys after last night. To be honest with you, they probably lost a lot of confidence in their squad.
Now,
Speaking
let's
of
see.
which, we had the game over earlier with the Bills. I assume that ended in the blowout it started. I didn't really finish
I
the
don't know.
game. I'm looking forward to that Eagles
Oh
game,
no,
so I'm
the
gonna have to
Bills
check that
are
out.
only up 7.
Oh dang! You're not wrong,
And
Fear. You're not wrong. All right, go ahead with the pick.
and the pick is in. They went with Critical Telos.
Ooh, critical. Another name I think we've all known from chat from the league. It's definitely a great addition, not just in terms of player skill, but personality and attitude you're bringing to the squad.
Yes.
So,
He might be the most underrated player at his position, in my opinion, because he's a damn good DC. He can, do it with the best of them. And I think that this is the perfect pick here. I'm sure Critical won't have any issues playing with the Cowboys DBs. They're electric. And he's just, one of those guys where he's a good locker room guy. He's going to keep everybody together, and he'll help out the owner if he needs anything. So that's a pick that I really like.
where defeat? That is a good question. We haven't seen him on this list at all, have we?
Okay,
I
and
think there's a few people
the
hiding
Eagles
around out
pick
there.
is in.
Alrighty, that was a
They
quick
have
pick.
selected. Please announce it like this. So they have selected Yogi sitting to pee. So Yogi sits when he pees. Hopefully he stands when he shits.
Oh, that would be an
we get-
interesting dynamic, wouldn't it? That would take a good amount of flexibility, some accuracy, some discipline. Them thighs would get to burning after a while. I mean, if you're squatting a little, I don't know.
He could just be doing the mega dump and standing up and
You're just
shooting.
projectile. He could possibly be. Could probably all this. See, that's still dedication because you got to manage the diet for that kind of exercise, you know. So with that, the Eagles have picked Yogi, and now the Chiefs are on the clock.
And Yogi's a good guy. We've been in parties with him just for staffing and things like that. He's another just super even keel guy. He's you're never gonna have any problems with him. And I assume he's probably gonna end up playing with Sacrifice if I had to guess. They might throw him with Mr. Ohio and Blunky on that line. But it's just, he's one of those guys that you can pretty much place anywhere. He's gonna have a good attitude. He's gonna show up and do well.
I think that's right. Well, I guess they go back to back, but whatever.
All right, yep. And the next two picks are in. So Beastie selects with the first pick. He selects Defeat.
Defeat.
Now Defeat.
As they're calling out in chat, where was he? Here he is. 2 picks after you called him out. What are your thoughts on the Defeat pick?
And you knew he was gonna go there, right? Defeat always plays with Brady. It's used to be him, Brady, and North. It doesn't seem like North is playing this season, but you knew Defeat was gonna go there. So that's just another guy. They're just really a really good draft out of these guys. They're just shoring up every single position, and that's exactly what you want out of an owner. So they're just getting a bunch of veterans that have been, tried and true throughout the league, and they're making them, they're going to make a good run with these guys. And then for the next pick, here, they actually decided to go with Fig.
Oh, Figgy! Figgy after the back-to-back Chiefs selection. The 25th pick in the Season 13 draft. Figgy!
Now, Fig, he's a cool dude. He has the league's best interest in mind. Him and Riggs had a little bit of just a parting of ways, but it was clean. There was no mess there, and Fig threw his name back in the hat to get drafted, and he switched to running back. So he will be playing alongside a really good line. So who knows? Maybe leaving Riggs and then coming over here, he got himself an opportunity to compete for a ring.
Absolutely. Can't blame him. Sometimes ownerships, GMs, they just don't match up. I think a lot of times they'll stick it out just for the sake of sticking it out and kind of drag the squad down with them. So I can respect having the awareness and acknowledgement to know it's just not a good fit, and you're looking for two different things. And I hope he found that with the Chiefs. Different culture brought to the game.
We're getting some ass eating in the chat.
Hey.
I think Highwalker's been known to do that, so I usually accepts Cash App or Venmo. It's not expensive either. I think last time I went to get mine done was $15 maximum. So yeah, he can hook you up real good. And if you need the connections, just let me know.
I don't know how to moderate stuff.
Well, if anybody wants any cute try-ons or yoga vids, just look around YouTube and you can go ahead and go there.
Right. I tried blocking her. Let's see if that does anything. I don't know. Does it say, listen, it doesn't say HIV, alright? I have all these letters here, right? I got a handful of letters, and I was going to spell out Virtual Football League, and I realized it's all mirrored, which was more effort than I thought, and they're also much tinier than I thought, and I got real sick of wasting my time. So maybe next time those will be up. For now, you get this little guy. Alright.
Picked up was To the Crib, a guy who we were super high on. We were high on him during our tier list just because we thought
His
he had a cool name.
Was cool, yeah. I didn't expect him to go this early though. He went a little quicker than I would have thought. I mean, like you said, he was more of an unknown player for us. But obviously, they must know something we don't. Have a little more familiarity with the player, or with the guy behind the player. Maybe it's another, cohesive teammate that really brings the squad together.
Right, so next we got Aesop rounding out his team.
Alright, I think that puts us at pick, 28. 27? 27.
Yep, we're on pick
27. So here we await the Cowboys on the clock.
So while we have some downtime, we're also looking to anybody. I know Smitty was looking to help stream some games. Anybody that wants to stream and broadcast any games, make sure you just get in touch with Minotaur and he'll kind of handle all that stuff. But I know Smitty wanted to, Yogi probably does. We're gonna want to try and highlight a few games a week, not just the good players, but also the new players, some matchups that maybe we're not all too familiar with. Just get some more eyes on the league, and just kind of get more people some publicity, get some more playing time out of these new guys.
A personal vendetta in that game, and you wanna put it on the stream so you can kick the shit out of some other guy you don't like. Let me know. We'll throw it on there, and we'll see what you're capable of live in front of everybody. It's the best time to find out who's the real team when you put them on the live stream. Make for some good, awkward, uncomfortable post-game interviews as well. We'll be some of those people. Maybe we'll lose out on some final drives.
And there's a lot of guys on here that I recognize the names, but I don't know if they play the game. There's people on here that they signed up, and I haven't heard from them since. So maybe they've been talking to one owner, or who knows what the prerogative is.
Right. I see what you mean. They might just kind of be locked into some guy they know and waiting for that pickup. But all it takes is someone in desperate need of a position to kind of reach down a little further and pluck them out, and that could change all of their plans to play with who they want to play with. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So
still just waiting on Facebooks.
Yep. waiting on the Cowboys for the 27th pick in the season 13 draft. I'm gonna set this up somewhere, but I don't know how to get it to stand.
Waiting for next season. Did you not sign up, or are you just anticipating that you'll go undrafted?
I don't know, dude.
You can still sign up now, and then depending on what we have with the rest of the players, we'll either how many active players we have, we can fill out an AFL, or we're critiquing a little bit the way that ECUs are utilized. So there's going to be more opportunity this season for players that weren't drafted.
I know the Cowboys are taking a while with this one, huh, fellas? See if I can get this to stand without breaking something. Nope.
The timer's at 0, but you know, with something like this, there's not really anything we can do when it's at 0. It's not like we can make them skip their picks. So.
Is he aware of what's going on? Put a damper on things here, Cowboys.
All right, and he selected.
All right.
I know we'll be happy about this. DJ Rage Quit.
Rage Quit, drafted number 27th overall to the Cowboys. Think he's gonna be happy with that pick, huh?
Yeah, DJ is just happy to get drafted, and he's a good player. I don't know if he's still, you know, door dashing or whatever he was doing before, but I know before he was working all the time, so his schedule was a little all over the place. And if anybody's looking to give him $100, he'll do anything you need.
That's what you want in a player right there, desperation. That's what it's all about. Wonder how much he got paid to join that lineup, huh? Find something else to stack on this thing. I'm running out of stuff.
All right, and the next pick's already in. High Walker selects 6th Mallard.
6th Mallard to the 49ers for the 28th overall selection.
Good player. He's a really good player. He's got a level head on him. He knows what he's doing. He's got a lot of really good ideas, and he's one of those guys that also has the league first as far as things go. He's always been league oriented, so this will be another good pick to slot him into a 49ers team that's sneakily becoming one of my favorite teams throughout the draft.
I don't know if I can put this here. This is risky.
And then next we have beach mode on the clock.
Up next, the Bills
Who is
waiting for
already
their
typing.
selection. All right. So the 30th pick in season 13 player draft,
And
the
this is one of
Bills
my favorite
select.
picks here. One of my favorite picks. And he said, I'm taking the league rock star. Now, beach mode, I do appreciate that you give a little bit of detail with every pick. The league rock star, Johnny Wheels, hold this one up.
Johnny Wheels, let's fucking go. Picked for the Bills, number 30 overall. Hell yeah, love to see the love for Johnny Wheels. What were some of our old party chats and our old games with good old Johnny? Hell of a guy, hell of a teammate, hell of a player. He really does. I mean, we've said it a few times. Some players really just come to a team and just mush everyone on that team into one cohesive unit. And I confidently believe he is one of the people to do just that. And we got Fear shouting out his now announced teammate, Mallard, over there, is his favorite pick of the draft. Might be a little bias, a little favoritism there, but, I respect you shouting out a fellow teammate. Let's see if I can find something else to stack.
See if I can clear up some of these names here. All right, so we got Johnny Wheels was a hell of a pick. I love Johnny. Great guy. Shows up, plays his games, never gives you any trouble. And then on the weekends, he's out there fucking singing his heart out, doing interviews.
My foot's cramping up. I ain't built for football like this.
right, so as the draft gets down, we're gonna start seeing people's sneaky picks, maybe guys that didn't try out for other people, maybe newer guys in the league that are friends of people that they didn't know before. So this is where it gets interesting. Now there's still plenty of guys up there that have played in the league and have done really well with that. So I'm just I'm interested to see kind of who starts coming off the board, some newer names that we could start highlighting throughout the season.
Obviously, yes, yes. This is gonna really start to see kind of any position, best player available, kind of start pluck off. They really fill out their rosters, look for the positions that might be a little empty, neglected.
This
So,
might be the steal of the draft.
no,
I overlooked it, didn't even realize he was still on the board because I figured there was no way. It's a quarterback pick that they waited on and they hit on it. They got D-Rock. Okay,
wow,
and
the
he goes by
Ravens
Cape right
select
now.
D-Rock, number 31 overall in the draft, sliding down.
Yeah, one of the top QBs out there. I'm surprised he fell this far, but Pucci has a game plan. He's sticking to it, and by all means, he hit on this one.
Like you said, it's really comes down to the steals that no pun intended, steal you this season. We're getting the best value late in the draft, and not many people are still coming off. Love to see a good value pick like that. That now puts him at 3 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, and a wide receiver. Got another good DB, another one to cover the top of the defense. That's one heck of a pick. And now we wait on the Bucks with 32 overall. See who Riggsy and Payne will pick for the Buccaneers.
All right, and it looks like this is another. I mean, we're just getting a lot of really good value picks here. Another really good pick, a guy that's been in the league since damn near its conception. This is Outtaker, so a guy
Outtaker,
who's
32 overall. Wow.
really good on D line. He's going to show up to his games. He's going to play. He's going to play hard. I assume he's going to probably be on that line with Champ and Farah. So that rounds out one of the better lines in the league right there. Now, can they get it done with a team of the caliber of the Bucks? Who knows? But Outtaker's going to make it a lot easier with that deal. And they got Vita Vey, they got Shaq Barrett. So he'll have some superstar abilities to play with there on the line, and then obviously at receiver Godwin and Evans, he's put in the best position on a bad team. So
Yeah, definitely another great value pick. They got their second receiver off the board. Now got 3 quarterbacks, 2 receivers, 1 running back. We'll see what position they end up picking next round. So now, with Outtaker as the 32nd pick in the draft, we now have the Jaguars awaiting the 33rd pick.
okay, and the first one came in, and they went with
Right.
Hero. Hero's a guy that has been he's super active in chat. He's one of those guys that's really wanted to get on a team, and he's been putting in the work and tryouts and things like that. He's been a journeyman, to say, and I'm happy for him being able to get on a team and being able to show stuff.
Yeah, this 32nd pick as the Jaguars pick up. It's always kind of outside looking in, a little bit of a mixed bag getting drafted to the Jaguars. Being one of these teams that were picked later in the round, I do wonder how many players are, just as much upset as they're excited to have been drafted to the squad. But I'm sure they kind of see it coming. I'm sure they've had their discussions and their discords. I'm sure they know what's happening here, and I'm sure they're looking forward to it. And with that, the Jaguars have made their selection, and I believe they will also be ready for their 33rd selection.
All right, and the next pick is up. They have selected Porkside.
Side. So back-to-back picks for the Jags there. So we wait to see this doc updated here. That takes care of the 33rd pick. And now the Chiefs, as I continue to not keep up to date with this document, are on the clock.
So this pick actually belongs to the Eagles.
Oh,
See,
interesting.
this 5th-round trade that Riggs moved up so that he was able to get Farah. So now this is the Eagles' 5th-round pick. So in the 7th round, the Bucks will have 2 picks. So this one belongs to the Eagles.
Right. All right, so now we have the Eagles on the clock.
And just a shout out to Pork. I know he's been trying to get in games. He's kind of been a little bit of shadow man from the league, but he's always looking to play games. He's always online. So whether or not he's, needs a little bit of work at first, he's one of those guys that's willing to put the work in.
This might be backwards. I don't think so. All right. So who's looking for games? Who in here? Calling them out. That Parkside.
Pork's always playing.
Parkside's always playing. He's always in chat. We appreciate that as well. Appreciate the activity. So now wait out the Eagles on the clock.
And honestly, I mean, they went with that 2 to crib pick that maybe was a bit of a reach. He could be a good player, but he probably would have lasted a little longer. So it's impressive to see who he's going to get after. And yeah, the league is for Xbox and for PS5 and for PC. So we have a Discord and we have a website. All you got to do is, if you have Discord, let me know what your name is, and then we can go ahead and get you in the league. And we're just looking to grow every day. This is the draft for the season, so you'll be signing up after the draft, which just means that you'll be a free agent essentially. And I'll kind of break down how that works once you get in the league, and we can start talking in DMs.
Heck yeah. Love to see new players. Love to see you in the stream. Glad you're here to watch.
Wow. And this is a pick I would have never seen ever. I mean, this guy, he's puts in the time, puts in the work, doesn't give himself enough credit really, but he's going to be happy to be going home to Philadelphia. The next pick for the Eagles is Meow Minotaur.
Oh, hell yeah. Meow Minotaur unleashed on the Eagles D-line. All right. Definitely excited to be back on the Eagles roster. You know, I'm an Eagles fan at heart. You might have seen me in the jersey on a recent draft or tier list or whatever it may have been. Kind of a little bit hopeful we can get this draft sped up a little bit so I don't miss part of the game after this. But yeah, I mean, you got me at wide receiver D line. You know, kind of in the same vein, you know, start to wonder, you know, not to undervalue myself, but might be a little bit of a reach there. I wonder if it's positional based. I really haven't played with a lot of the people on the squad. But I mean, I've definitely talked in chats with a few of them, played in games with a few of them, and I'm definitely looking forward to joining a new squad and bringing that ship to Philadelphia, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, so that pretty much guarantees that you'll be able to kick Riggs' teeth in at least, once a
Oh,
week.
hell
So
yeah. That's what I look forward to most. Can't wait.
It's a free league, Nate.
I don't think $50 for anything.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Are you surprised by this pick? Are you?
I mean, like I said, I'm certainly surprised, both in kind of going a little earlier and going with some people I might not have played with as much as others. But I mean, of all the teams to get landed on, the Eagles are obviously number one on the list. I'm definitely not upset about the roster I'm going to be playing with. The receivers I'm running around with, the D line, we got Carter, we got Davis, we got the edge rushers, we got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I know Watkins got some speed. I don't know if he's quite viable in Madden, but I'm definitely looking forward to running around with the green jerseys on. I can't lie about that.
And so next on the clock we have Uchi.
We got
Yeah,
Hoochie on the clock
Sacrifice.
next. I'm all sorts of confused with the trades going on now.
Yep, Sacrifice. You got picked up. Looks like you found yourself at home with the Eagles, and who knows, maybe you and Minotaur will be on a line this season.
Oh yeah, Sacrifice. Yeah. All right, welcome back to the stream. I guess if you popped out for a minute. You're unfortunately stuck with me on your squad this time around, so for better or worse, you're gonna have to start to enjoy the media a little more, huh? Might give the Eagles a little bit of break, given some of the tiers and rankings we go through, but no promises, no promises. So we are now, draft order's gotten a little mixed up now that we had some trades. So as Groff announced, the Eagles are next on the clock.
The Ravens
Or
are.
the Ravens. Sorry, misspoke there.
So yeah, that's one of those things where is that going to go, come back to bite Riggs in the ass? He probably was looking to get you, but he traded that pick away, and that's the pick that you ended up getting selected for the Eagles.
Right? You know, it makes you wonder how many of these were, plans, how much was kind of surprises. Did you cut out for
the
just
next pick
okay, there we go.
is a guy that probably fell more than he should have. This is Unglued Tiger to the Ravens.
Blue Tiger, another name that I believe we saw a bit on tier list or two. So yeah, a little later than I probably would have guessed, but it's good to see him pop up there for the Ravens squad.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on Blue Tiger at this value here? That's now their third running back.
uh he's he's a great value player, especially right here. And um, he's gonna have fun with that D line, and then also at running back with Lamar being such a run threat, it opens up the rushing game a little bit more for running backs. And it's already looking like a stacked team as is. So I think that he's gonna prosper pretty well down there in Baltimore.
All right, some people in the chat are calling out critical there, seeing the Ravens team as kind of stacked. I mean.
And next we have beach mode.
Oh, beast mode on the clock. But as critical saying, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I would like one of my fellow teammates calling another team stacked before the season even starts. I don't know if that's quite the headspace I'd want to be in. But I don't, blame him for looking at that lineup of Hoochie, Nate, Black Saiyan, Timo, Woody, K-Cord, and Tiger, and not thinking that they got some guys on that lineup.
Yeah, and school you as far as crazy only one receiver. I know Nate can play receiver. Then they're probably going to change it up a little bit here and there, but maybe they don't. Maybe they have some deep picks that they're going for. But the next pick is on the board, and Beach Mode did it again. He said, "I'm taking the silent killer of the league, wide receiver linebacker, 713 Jock."
713 Jock, the silent killer as they call him. Interesting. All right, so beach mode, just throwing out phrase after phrase, picking up his players there. He's got it with a spunk, with an attitude. That's how you know the players he are bringing in embody that same attitude that he's bringing. Everyone who's bringing in fits the culture, fits the attitude, fits what they're trying to build. So, what do you
Yeah.
think about 713 here, a wide receiver linebacker?
You got to have a lot of chutzpah to be, throwing around these one-liners that he
It's
is
their
when he's
first
drafting these guys.
receiver off the board for the Bills there, now that I noticed that.
And Jock is he's a great player. Honestly, he's one of those guys that he is silent. You don't really hear from him much. He joined in a few Maddens ago, and he's been a pretty consistent player, third line guy for a while. He's one of those guys that he's looking to make the jump to second line talent, but he wreaks havoc on third line. So he's a good player that's here to stay. And as long as he keeps signing up, I assume he'll keep getting drafted.
I mean, depth is important. There's 3 lines for a reason, You can't just carry a season with one. You can't even carry a season with 2. You really need a good, strong line, some good depth in there, and he might be bringing just what they need for a late playoff push. So we got a little mixed up here. So who's next on the clock?
Highwalker, the Niners.
Skywalker of the Niners. Let me fix that.
Yep, I'm just going to clean up this list a little bit. And if we could, Jake, could you give us a live score check on the Bill Steelers game?
That I can do, as a matter of fact. Let me just pop it up. Eventually. I don't know how much I'm legally allowed to show on here, so we'll figure that out, I guess. Enough to know you don't need to keep looking at updates, if you can see that. It is 31-17 Bills with a minute to go in the fourth. So I think it's about fair to say. Aside from cookies and whatever lawsuits I'm going to see on my door for that 2 seconds there. But minute left, can't imagine anything crazy happens there. I'll check again in a few seconds just to be sure.
And the next pick is in, and Highwalker and the Niners went with Hog Crazy. So they're securing that last quarterback that they need there. Hog's been in the league since I've been in the league ever. I mean, I was in 10 years ago, and I believe I remember the name Hog Crazy. So they got their guy. They knew they wanted a quarterback late, and they got him late. So this is a good pick, and that Niners team is starting to round out. I like that they didn't waste all their value on, quarterbacks early on, because the Niners, they have receivers, DBs out the wazoo. So, running backs, everybody on that team is good. So they went for more positional based. And like I said, that's one of the better ways to draft.
Right. I mean, as you mentioned, that's their third quarterback. Now their third DB. They got 3 linebackers. So that leaves receivers. D-line are probably the next 2 coming off the board for them. So we'll see who they pick with those 2 picks. as we await the Cowboys, I believe.
Yep, Cowboys are up. Order's normal for the time.
Okay, okay. I'll just do one player at a time, that's easier. So while I got some people in here, how's the audio coming through on the stream? Everyone's volume okay? We got some sound in the background. Is that coming through okay for everybody? You know, we kind of use a very similar setup to most of our pre-recorded events, so we just want to make sure if anything needs adjusting, it's good to do it now. Audio is good? Heck yeah, alright.
Behe holding out strong in the draft. I'm assuming Behe's going to get taken. It's just a matter of when.
I can't believe I got taken before a lot of these names that I'm familiar with. That's that was a shock to me, but you know, I'll take it as a compliment. I appreciate it. Maybe part of it's the media hustle, the grind to put my name out there a little more. Otherwise, I don't know how many people would even know who I was. So I'll take it.
And we're waiting. Ace, as always, he likes to be the guy where he, he likes to take his time and deliberate on his picks. So. And here we go.
Right.
Just like we were just talking about there, the pick is in, and the Cowboys select Behe. So Behe's been holding on strong, and Behe finally gets selected.
There we go. It pays off to be active, to stay in the chat, to stay on top of things. Behe, wide receiver, D-line.
Just came back from Disney over the weekend, so
Wow.
looks like he'll be on another ride here with the Cowboys. Hey. A roster that's starting to look like they're filling out pretty well, and he'll round out that already elite defensive lineman crew.
You know, with any luck, by the time the season ends, they'll be going right back to celebrating at Disney World. You know what I'm saying? Only one can hope. So that the Cowboys pick is now in, and now we await the Chiefs as they are on the clock with their 5th player pick of the draft.
Eagles are on the clock.
Fucking hell, man. All right. My bad, I forgot they were normal. I'm just looking at like who was missing players and kind of like bouncing there.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even keeping up with this TV anymore. I don't even know what to put on here. I need highlights. I need highlights to play the entire time.
So, you just got selected this team. Who's somebody that maybe you'd like to see go here, or position, or?
Truth be told, without a list in front of me, I can't even keep track of who's been off the board, who's still on the board. I don't even know. Just, if we're gonna analyze some of the positions here, we got 2 quarterbacks, 2 receivers, 3 receivers, 2 running backs. So you'd think you'd probably want a quarterback now versus the last pick, right? You'd probably find more value taking them now.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the quarterback they might go with is I'm looking at like Smitty.
Well, Smitty would be a good pick. That's another cool guy. It's another good teammate to have bring into the fold. I believe I've played a few games with Smitty. If not, I've been in a few chats with Smitty, and that would certainly be a good pick. And I wouldn't mind seeing him on my team either.
And the pick is in, and we were right as far as quarterback goes, but they went with Child Please.
Child Please.
Last quarterback selected.
We're the last quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, as they continue to round out their lineup and their positions there, that gives them officially 3 DBs, 2 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers. They have 4 DBs. That's interesting. So someone's probably gonna be switching up a little bit there, perhaps.
Yeah. Probably just somebody sign up for multiple positions on defense. So.
Yeah, totally understandable. All right. Now we actually await the Chiefs this time.
They got back-to-back picks. They already have an elite roster. They're looking stacked. So I'm looking to see what they can do to add to that.
Right. They got 2 quarterbacks, 2 receivers, 2 running backs. So looks to me like the floor is kind of open for anything. You know, I don't know what defense Orby is. Probably open.
I airballed my last prediction. Looks like they need a quarterback. I'm gonna throw Smitty back out. His name.
Keep on throwing him. He's gonna stick one of these. We have 2 picks in a row. He's got to be one of them, right? I mean, what are the odds?
And looking at the quarterbacks remaining, Smitty's the best one out there in my opinion. And I
Okay.
think this is the only team that's still in need of a quarterback. So I'm rooting for my guy Smitty here.
Let's see, you got three. We got three. We got three. We got. Yeah, he looks to be about the last team remaining that needs a quarterback. The Cowboys is Mr. Unknown quarterback.
No.
I didn't think so. So they might need a quarterback as well. Looks like they only have two.
So
So we might see a fight over to see who the last quarterback taken is, depending on what the Chiefs go with here. As we await their two consecutive player picks. Hope they
let's
don't
see what we have as
choke.
far as the quarterbacks still remaining are. So I know we have Smith, we have Smitty. So the Smiths and the Smitties are all out there. We got a guy who is throw to me, but he's the quarterback, so I don't really know how that one works. Um,
Sure.
we have King of Crazy, who must be a newer guy, um, and that seems to kind of round out the QB. So there's not a whole lot. Victus Gaming, whoever that might be, shout out if you're new. But we've got, yeah, as far as quarterbacks go, it's a short list. G-Men's out there as well. So there's two QBs remaining to be picked in the draft unless somebody, quads up on them and switches off. But it's looking pretty good as far as quarterbacks go. We only have a few left, so um, I'm sticking to my prediction.
Speaking of Smitty, as they're waiting out the final few seconds as the Chiefs wait out their back-to-back picks. They're looking for their fifth and sixth player in this draft. So far, they have selected a receiver, a quarterback, a receiver, and a running back. Interested to see what skill positions get hit up here.
Right? And I want to just, shout out everybody that's still in the chat. We still have 43 viewers, so we appreciate that.
Heck yeah. Especially this late in
Hopefully
the
when we
draft.
start releasing these weekly videos, you guys, any critiques, anything like that, anybody, that wants in on it, like we said, we're trying to get the whole community involved and really make it so that you have something to look forward to every week. You're not just playing for, a Super Bowl. You're playing for, real life trophies. You're playing for articles. You talk in the video, things of that nature. So we're really trying to add a lot of value to the players this season.
As Groff has mentioned earlier, it's still not too late to sign up. You'll just be signing up as an ECU/free agent until, if we still get enough late signups, we might see some changes with an AFL, another line league, another little, amateur league, if you will. But just keep on signing up. There's going to be playtime. There's going to be opportunity for all of you out there who are still interested in playing. Put your name out there, even if it's just in-house tryouts and scrimming against teams for practice. There's still a lot of potential for you to get good playtime. So make sure to sign up, check out the website, check out the Discord, ask any questions you have to anyone you might find. We're all pretty helpful and willing to bring you into the league.
And as we grow, obviously there's going to be more opportunities. So the more you new guys that sign up, stick around, play in ECU games, kind of get familiar with everything, then the more opportunity we have to grow. So next season you'll be able to find yourself right on a team because we're going to have to expand.
Yep. I know sometimes it's kind of hard to be drafted as a rookie, so you might not see your name on the board now. So unfortunately, a lot of it is familiarity. It's going to be hard to draft someone you've never played with. So, you might have to put in your time this season, but usually people grow pretty quick. Stay active in the chat, stay active in the Discord. Throw some stuff out there. I'll try to shout out new rookies in media as well as I can to kind of give you a little more attention. But we'll see what we can do for everybody here in the league. We're still waiting on the Chiefs, it looks like.
Yeah. They actually submitted their first pick.
Okay. The first pick is in.
So the first pick is none other than FYC Smitty. We finally have that prediction.
Smitty boy.
Team. And Smitty, it's his first season at quarterback. I think that's because he's got a few people. Well, not his first season, but his first season back as quarterback. I think he's got some people that he's looking to play with, so that's why he's got a line he really gels with. Smitty's a good guy, super passionate about the league. You could shoot the shit with him for hours. He's always entertaining, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him with Pat Mahomes putting up some stats. And this is one of those picks that it's a great value pick. And I just proud, happy for my guy Smitty to see him, get himself on a roster and start earning himself some more respect in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, seeing him pair up with Mahomes there, it's a good matchup for quarterback. I'm sure he's very excited about that. Got some decent
Yeah,
D tackles, got some good D line. So I'm interested to see how Smitty performs. We've mentioned before we're fans of the guy. You think he's a good addition to the league. He's a good attitude that he brings to everything. So hoping he can put up some good stats and really rise in next another round or two for the draft next year.
and the next pick is in, and it's the best name in the league. Beastie's brother, I think that's who he is. Beefy Chubb.
Ah,
He's
BP Chubb.
he's going to be beefed up
Ah,
and shoving himself through the hole there. He's got the running back Isaiah Pacheco, who, if you know anything about how he runs, it's just all downhill steam, which sounds like he's going to, be shoving his Chubb down the hole.
if anyone
And
matches up, it's Beefy Chubb and good old Pacheco, running angry out there. Heck yeah.
that's perfect.
I'm sure I can already tell, knowing Smitty the little bit I know him. I'm sure he appreciates a beefy Chubb at running back there. I know he's
No,
laughing. I know he's loving the pick right after him. I'm sure he has no problems with it. So that
this
lines
pick
out
is
three quarterbacks
for
and running backs.
Riggs.
So the Rigs as the Bucks select, or are they still on the clock?
They're still up.
Okay. So the Bills are now on the clock.
Bucks.
What did I say?
Bills. The
Oh,
Bucks are on the clock.
my
So
bad. My
if you guys
bad.
missed it earlier, um, there was a trade to some team swap earlier, but just the Eagles acquired the 5th round pick from the Bucks, and the Bucks acquired the 7th round pick for some team draft swaps. So Minotaur was acquired with the 5th round pick from the Bucks, and now the Bucks are going to be able to use this 7th round pick for whoever they choose. So anticipating it, a message here from Riggs coming up. I couldn't even tell you who he's going to go for here, but it looks like he's got his quarterbacks, so he's in dire need of skilled players. Could you just confirm for me real quick? We are in this is pick 35, so we're in the 5th round, aren't we? Okay, yeah. So we're in the 6th round. So mistake on my end. Jake, they said there's a static coming from your mic, but mistake on my end. Um, actually, this pick is Mr. Ohio. The next pick is the one that's for Riggs.
Is the static still there? I think I might have just been moving around and doing too much.
So that's a mistake on my end, but we got everything resituated. And Mr. Ohio selects Jay Rugga.
Who is it? Sorry.
Mr. Ohio selects Jay Rugga. I made a
J.
mistake.
Rugga. Ali. It's
Made
not
a
his
mistake
name, but
earlier,
someone gets that reference.
and he's going to be living in an Amish paradise with the Eagles there in Minotaur. So
Hey.
so the mix-up was this is the 6th round, not the 7th round. So now the Eagles are out of picks. Their roster is full. So the
Stat.
next time they're supposed to be up, it will be the Buccaneers pick.
Gotcha.
So now Ace is on the clock.
Alright. I understand what's going on now. I'm severely dehydrated or something. Oh, what the hell's happening? Both my feet are just cramping constantly.
The stand-in business isn't for everybody. That's why I sat in
Apparently
my
not.
chair.
I should have gotten some water before we started. It's freaking full sugar Coke I haven't had in like 3 years. They doing it for me. Yeah. That's not at all right. What the heck am I doing?
Now we got Ace, who usually likes to take his time a little bit, but I assume all the other owners probably have their picks locked and loaded. Oh, and Ace, the last taken in the draft is G-Men.
G-Men. Well, they still have another one, don't they?
That's the last QB taken, though.
Oh,
Unless
QB.
somebody
Sorry,
decides
sorry.
to quad up on
Yeah,
QBs.
yeah.
G-Men is
gotcha.
the last QB that'll be taken.
Understood. Which maybe. I mean, the Eagles got a quadro receivers out there.
Now, next we got Skywalker.
We got the 49ers on the clock. Because they have 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, and 1 receiver. I think it's probably likely a receiver / D-line gets picked in this pick here. Have any players in mind, or is the pick in?
The pick is in. They went with exactly what you said, a receiver D-line. They got themselves T1 Anime.
T1 Anime. That's a nice name. I can respect that. Some good old tier 1 out there. Tier 1 Anime receiver D-line, now officially on the San Francisco 49ers. Enjoy the weather out there, enjoy the taxes. Up next is Beach Mode and the Bills, officially on the clock.
So Beach Mode and the Bills. I'm hoping he brings us a little haiku poem with this one so that he can, really keep it going strong with his one-liners.
You set the precedent now. Now you got to keep it up.
All right, and Beach Mode said, we are taking the guy who probably shouldn't have said what he said, but he's here anyways, the villain Lou.
The villain Lou. What did the villain Lou say? Am I out of the loop with this one? Is it a slur that we're not allowed to repeat? What did he say?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Villain Lou's he's got
he's a villain. He's a villain. What do you got,
He plays into the villain role well, and he's got a pass, but it's behind him now, and let's just he's things that we can't repeat.
John Gruden said some stuff. Riley Cooper said some stuff. Many other people whose name I don't remember have said some stuff. We'll see what kind of talent and what kind of results they can put out on the field, and we'll go from there. We'll see if the owner believes he's worth the headache.
Well, I believe they're boys, so I think that won't be an issue there.
Oh, Beach. School U is back here, waiting for it. I hope to see him. I hope to see School U drafted at some point in here.
Me too. B-Wall's up there.
I don't remember seeing him in many. I mean, we didn't get to any of him in the position tier list, so I don't know how many other people are really seeing him out there. I don't know if he's newer or not, but I'm hoping he's getting picked up.
Yeah, so players that I know have been in the league before, they're still up there. Smith, B-Wall, probably missing some. Shadow.
B-Wall is still up there. I'm surprised B-Wall wasn't picked already.
Call Me Kyle still up there. The Gum Father. He's a player that used to play, still up there. Trash Panda, we like the name. Willie's still up there. I don't know if I just gave away somebody's pick, but Willie's still up there. Let's see, who else do we got? Carnage used to play in the league a while ago. Rivals never practices. I would have expected him to have been gone by now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he hasn't been taken, but maybe
the name
maybe
might be a little discouraged. Yeah, maybe we threw some people out. Maybe some owners kind of forgot some players are up there, and we helped them out there. I don't know. I wonder. You think there's what are the rules on trading post draft? Are we pretty open to trades? Do we welcome trades? How do we feel about those? Do you think there's going to be a lot of shakeups post draft that happen? Or do you think teams are pretty much drafting who they plan to stick with going forward?
Um, I think at this point in the draft, it's just best available. You just take
Yeah.
helter skelter.
And
So
then you
just
sort
whoever
it
you
out
want.
after?
Yeah, names that you recognize.
Gotcha.
Um, and this pick, um, they ended up going with Mark Dog.
Mark Dog. So the Ravens select Mark Dog. So Hoochie and Nate pulling together their. I don't think that's final, is it? Nope.
Mark Dog's a good player. He hasn't. I know he hasn't played in a while. So he might have just signed up. Maybe he got some free time or anything like that. But he was a good player back in the day. Who knows what he's like now? But yep, Mark Dog got selected, and he's a cool guy.
Interesting. Mark Dog got selected. Nothing. No hate to the player. That does leave the Ravens with one receiver on their squad currently. I'm sure one of the running backs is fine switching up to receiver. I'm sure that's likely in the works. I'm sure they knew that heading into it. But definitely curious to see if they're going to draft a full-on receiver or if they're just going to try just switching a few of the running backs over to receiver to make that work out. So up next is now the Buccaneers with Riggs and Payne on the clock.
I don't know who they're gonna get here. So
Not sure either. So they got two receivers, three quarterbacks. So they really need a running back more than anything else. With Riggs the only running back on the squad. So the question is, what are the best running backs still available on the board to you?
the best running back on the board, in my opinion, is Uncle Willie's son, and he actually just got locked in as the pick. So
There we go. So the
Willie,
Bucks take
get
the
that work.
running pick.
Gonna put him in as Willie, got selected, and I assume he'll probably be playing with Champ and Farah, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel about your Bucks rounding out now that they took two more players after your pick? How do you feel about it?
A lot of good players. Couldn't tell you who the fuck I'm gonna be playing with though.
So you got three quarterbacks, two receivers, two running backs. Really running them out. Like you said, it's kind of anyone's guess how those lines are going to play out. But I mean, that's kind of what you want. You want three pretty strong. None of them really stand out. None of them really fall behind. Kind of banking on three well-rounded lines, maybe, or if he's wonder if he's going to try stack on one line as best as he can. Kind of fitting the two underneath.
So now we got the Jaguars on the clock.
Jaguars on the clock. Rounding out the sixth pick in the draft, or sixth round in the draft. This is when you really start to see players you really haven't seen much of or have much experience with kind of start to come off the board. So School U was new last season, played a few ECU games. All right, hopefully someone can pick him up. You know, I don't know how much tryouts, how much gaming he's really got done this season leading up to this. So I don't know if quarterbacks are super familiar or comfortable, or owners, I should say, are super comfortable. But I'd like to see some newer players, you know, get drafted here and enter the full-on starting league. So we'll see what the Jaguars are doing as they're on the clock. Let me take the HIV off the wall.
Yeah, this is really where you get into the all the new players, the players that are looking to make a name for themselves. So, and with the first pick, not a new player, but a player we all know, never practices, aka Rivals.
Never practices. Finally off the board. Slipped a little further than I think either of us thought. But, it kind of does beg the question how much the name might be coming into a little bit of these, insecurities there. But we got rivals running back DB off the board for the Jaguars.
Yep, and it's a good thing he doesn't like to practice because, well, you don't really want to have to with that Jaguars team anyway. So
Let's see.
let's see who we got up there still.
I think that matches it up, right? We'll go Jags again, Bucks. Ravens. I think that's right. We shall see together. As we're winding down the draft a bit, we just want to thank you again for all tuning in. We still have 36 viewers at the end of the draft, it was nice to see. We appreciate everyone tuning in. We hope you continue to tune in. Feel free to, leave any feedback about things you want to see added to media, things you don't quite love about media. As we announced, we got the Super Bowl champ trophy that's going to go out to the winner at the end of the season. We're going to work on some player-specific trophies. MVP, maybe running back, offensive player, defensive player, all the typical accolades you'd expect from the NFL. We're hoping to throw out trophies for, our players as well. So I'd love your feedback on anything you're looking for out of that. So as we continue to weight down this next pick, do you have any thoughts as we're starting to kind of round out? It's kind of hard to really pick names out at this point. It's just kind of position-based, it seems, and whoever might be left standing.
Yeah, that's what I was just kind of looking at. I was just trying to figure out, the caliber of guys up there. It's not a lot of guys know them, so they're either friends of people that nobody knows yet, or just new guys that have joined the league. So it's really impossible to predict what's going on here. But the Jaguars have selected B-Wall.
B-Wall, as I said earlier, I was expecting him to go a little earlier with a name, you hear quite a bit. Everyone's a little more familiar about it, but it doesn't necessarily always lead to draft status. So Jaguars have selected with their final selection in the Season 13 VFL draft, B-Wall at receiver/D-line. That rounds them out at 4 receivers, a pretty common trend we're seeing with some of these teams now. I should say that is the only 2 teams that have filled out their entire roster, both have 4 receivers. So look forward to seeing if that's the common way most of these other teams draft. What are your thoughts on B-Wall going at this point in the draft?
It's late, but B-Wall's got a big personality, so I know B-Wall's a good player. He can do whatever you need him to. He can call defense, all that stuff. So he's a good player, and he fell late, but they got good value out of him. And that Jaguars team looks really good now that they're rounded out.
Absolutely, they're really starting to pull their squad together, getting their ideas. I wonder how quickly they're going to be jumping into Discord and kind of figuring out their lines and figuring out all the little logistics of that squad there.
And the next pick is in.
Alrighty.
And it's one of the newer guys in the league. I've been playing with him a little bit. It is Holiday Beast is off the board as
Holiday Beast.
What I assume will probably be my wide receiver D-line for the season.
Right, Holiday Beast selected by the Buccaneers, wide receiver and D-line. So you've kind of guessed that you might be lining up together with him. What are your thoughts on Holiday Beast joining the team?
He's new to the game. He's one of my friends, but he's new to the game. Still a lot of learning to do. It's going to be, we're going to have to put in a lot of time, but hopefully, we can kind of start gelling together and figure out who we're playing with and see if we can get some wins on the board. Like I said, last season I won 1 game, so as long as I do more than that, it's a success for me.
Right, that kind of leaves you, assuming you're matching up with Holiday Beast, that leaves you looking for a running back, linebacker, or running back DB, I'm sorry. So that makes me wonder if Willie might be matching up with you guys, or if you guys might be taking another player in this last pick to match up with you. We'll see how all that plays out, as you guys seemingly still only have 2 running backs on your squad.
Yeah,
so
these are the times I'm glad I'm not owner because the way the list is looking now, I don't know who I would pick, so I don't know if we have any idea if Riggs has any idea who he's gonna pick.
Right. But with that, as the Bucks have selected, we're now up to Hoochie, Nate, and the Baltimore Ravens as their pick is on the clock. So taking a quick glance, they already have 4 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks actually. So they're in dire need of a receiver unless they're going to switch some positions around. So I'm expecting to see a receiver on the board, but as you said, with positions other than quarterback being so interchangeable, we could see anything here.
And this pick is in. This one's been long overdue. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Um, and finally, our boy in the chat got his time to shine. They're taking School U.
School you! Let's go, baby. Love to see it. Glad you're taking off the board. I hope you're still in chat to hear you've been taken here by the Baltimore Ravens. Played a few ECU games last season. It really looks like those ECU games must have paid off if they're reaching down to draft you now. So welcome to the official starting lineup. You're no longer an ECU player. You're an official member of the VFL and the Baltimore Ravens. Congratulations. Wide receiver, linebacker.
And as one of the newer guys that just got his foot in the door, landing yourself on a team like the Ravens, who's got superstar ability across the board, you're going to find yourself deep into the playoff runs, and there's no better way to start off your first season being drafted than that. So, congrats, man.
All right, and I see, just kind of interact with the chat a little bit. We got Yogi B in here. We need someone in the booth to commentate some live games. We'd love to have some people offer. As we mentioned, we're going to try to highlight some games, every week, whether that be after the game, during the game, before the game, whatever it may be. So anyone else that's also interested in this, just feel free to reach out, hit us up. We're going to try lining some stuff up week after week. So we'd love to have some guests on. Like I said, whether that's live during the games, because I know a lot of us might be playing other games at the time, so that might be a little more difficult. But one way or the other, we'd love to get some other people, some other guests on to kind of chat about the games. So love the suggestion. Agree completely. We look forward to finding a way to start doing that soon. So back to the draft. The Ravens have selected School U, wide receiver linebacker, which leaves the Bills on the clock for their last player of the draft.
Yep. And we'll be looking at beach mode here. Not a ton of players left on the draft board, so he's gonna have to get it. This is where the scouting pays out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is when you really start to reach. This is when you either know someone or you have a hunch on someone. You've played a few games, even if you're not sold on their ability or their experience in the league. You've played with them. There's a little bit of a culture match there. This might be when you kind of start to reach for someone that you think might just be a good fit without really having all the playtime experience to be confident in that. So I'm curious to see who gets picked up here for the Bills for their final player draft. Let's see, they got what? 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 2 receivers. So it's seemingly going to be another receiver, possibly a D lineman, a receiver / D line.
So it looks like the pick is in, and they said for the VFL Bills, Mr. Irrelevant, I'll be taking the future Rookie of the Year running back D line Trash Panda.
Running back D line Trash Panda. I remember, unfortunately, our running back tier list never quite got uploaded due to some audio issues. I remember discussing Trash Panda in there. We didn't know a lot about this player, so we kind of said some stuff about their name. We appreciate the name. We respect the game heading in, and we look forward to seeing how quickly, as the Bills have said, how quickly you can rise up to that Rookie of the Year, to the most improved player, to see where you get drafted next year or where you get ranked at the end of the season. So Trash Panda, Buffalo Bills declared their Mr. Irrelevant running back D-line.
And then with that, the Niners also quickly submit their pick, and they're going with Chop Dukes, another rookie. So a lot of rookies coming out this round. Chop Dukes, a quarterback DB.
Oh, a quarterback DB is a rookie. All right, they're taking a late round quarterback. They're really reaching to pluck that out. That could end up being the steal of the draft if he performs well. To get a quarterback that's late in the draft, to pluck him up. I mean, I don't know his defense, if he calls defense, if he just plays, I don't know any of that. But to have a quarterback, I mean, it's always good to draft a quarterback. So to have someone that late at that value, even if they're only a moderate skilled quarterback, it's still kind of a steal for the value they got it. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, if he comes out there and goes 500 as a quarterback taken in the last round, then that's the most successful a pick could be.
Right. So now, the 49ers picked up a quarterback DB, something we might not have quite expected. So with that, the Cowboys are now on the clock for their last pick. So running through their supposed positions so far, we got 3 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers, a running back. So that kind of assumes you're going to see the last third running back picked here. But again, as interchangeable as they are, we could really see a running back or receiver at this spot. Looks like they got 2 linebackers, 3 defensive linemen, at least 2 DBs. So you're probably going to see some sort of back, whether that be linebacker or defensive back. Probably going to see a running back DB here if I had to take a guess as we wait on this last pick.
All right, and who do we? Oh, we got the Cowboys here.
Yep. School you. Love to see it in chat. Love to see you drafted. Look forward to seeing you play and look forward to covering you in the weekly media. Definitely some good young rookies in here. It's gonna be cool seeing them in the league, seeing what kind of stats they can put up, what kind of disruption they can cause in this new league.
Looking at the board, obviously it's getting real thin now, so it's just a matter of preference at this point. Maybe some gut feel on some guys.
So got a little bit of time waiting for this last pick to come in. Some of you rookies out here who might be in the stream, might not be in the stream. We'll see. What brought you to the league? Was it a friend in the league that kind of dragged you over? Did you kind of stumble upon, the website, the Discord, the Twitch? What really brought you to the league? What kept you in the league? What made you sign up? And what's got you so excited to start playing for your team now? Would love to hear it. Would love to, use that information to help grow the league into the rest of the season and following up into next season. So, just get some kind of conversation going as we wait out the Cowboys' last selection in the player draft. As they tend to take a little longer than some of the others, we continue to wait. They really want to make sure they get the best out of every pick. They want to make sure they think it over as long as possible. Maybe they got Jerry Jones kicking down the door and overriding their decision last second. Wouldn't be surprised to see it. They got a lot of changes to make after last night, so I'm sure there's pretty last second adjustments, some audibles being thrown out there. I think I saw this morning that they're still looking to sign, or at least they were looking to sign Dak for like a $60+ million and make him the most paid quarterback. I don't know if that's still the case, but that's something to consider as we continue to value quarterbacks and other offensive players out here.
Sounds like insanity if you ask me, but
I'm biased, so I'll always have an opinion about it. But hey, if they want to crush their franchise with a bunch of money, I won't tell them not to.
Ace Bug's pick is in. He selects Carnage 3-1-1 to round out the last pick of his roster.
3-1-1. So the final selection in the Cowboys player draft, they select Carnage 3-1-1. All right. Seeing him take later. Is that a name you're familiar with? Do you know?
Yeah, Carnage played back in the day.
Okay.
I think he just might have re-signed up.
So that might be another good value pick there too. Get someone who's a little more skilled than they are known, more experienced than they are, notorious, and you might get a little good value there. Wide receiver or running back / DB. Carnage 3-1-1.
Now this next pick here, the 7th round pick is the Eagles pick was defaulted.
Yep. So now it was the Buccaneers.
And the Bucs are going to be taking Shadow.
The Buccaneers have selected Shadow as their final player pick in the season 13 draft.
So let me clear up this list here. I don't know a lot about Shadow. I don't know how good he is. I know he's from the 3FL. I
He's
know
got a cool
he's
name.
got a level head on his shoulders. So we'll see how he got a spot on a roster. So we'll see how that plays out for him.
I mean, if I'm connecting the dots of like Shadow with Sonic with speed, or running back makes sense. DB makes sense. You know, maybe we'll see him getting a little shifty in the backfield and sprinting around there. You know, making some jukes, some spins, breaking some ankles. Maybe also Shadow out there speeding down the field. So the last remaining pick in the season 13 draft belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs. For the
Yep.
one true Mr. Irrelevant, we wait on the final pick.
The last guy, it could make or break his night. I know a lot of these new guys are looking to get in the league, looking to get some playing time. So this could make or break this guy's night and, set him up for potentially having a Tom Brady-esque career.
Absolutely. So I'll keep waiting on this. I'm sure a lot of the players, all the players waiting are getting little sweaty palms. You know, maybe getting a little antsy, waiting in their seats, wondering if they're going to get picked, if their friend's going to get picked to their team, what's going on. So, you know, just sitting here waiting, no pressure, whether it be a rookie, whether it be a vet, whether it be, you know, a middle of the pack player getting picked up by a squad. We're looking for Mr. Irrelevant here to change the game with this last pick in the season 13 VFL draft. We're on the Kansas City Chiefs, who currently have 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, and 2 wide receivers. So seemingly another wide receiver pick here, possibly another wide receiver D-line combo. They seem to be pretty favorable towards the bottom of the draft. So we'll see who they pick up here for the Kansas City Chiefs. Last pick, so they got time. They really got to make sure they don't, choke this last decision. They can't blame another team for making a good pick if they were just the ones to make a last bad pick. You know, it's gonna be a killer if they leave someone good on ECU to wreak havoc on their squad on free agency weeks. So we'll see what they go with here.
Yeah, that's something you got to think about too. Is not only is it the last pick, but you take a strike and miss, and then one of the guys in the ECU pool ends up being good and gets pulled up. I mean, that guy could have just as easily have been yours. And if you had scouted, a little bit harder or done a little bit more homework. So this pick, as much as there's no pressure on the player that gets picked, there's all the pressure in the world on the owner that's doing the pick.
Absolutely, especially knowing that they picked the team first, knowing they would get the last pick. They really put the pressure that they would make a good pick with that last pick. There's a lot on the line here when it comes to the owner and the GM and seeing who they pick and how it comes out for the rest of the draft. So with that, we wait on the final Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the season 13 draft. We got 24 viewers here. We appreciate you all still sticking in and watching to see the last pick. Hopefully. Oh.
And we have a trade alert.
Oh, a trade. Interesting. Okay. So we had the last trade for the last pick. How's this working? Who's got what trade here?
We have an interesting trade here. Okay. I'm not sure if maybe it was a misdraft earlier in the draft by the Eagles, but it looks like the Chiefs are actually going to be trading the rights to this pick to the Eagles for Child Please, who was selected 2 rounds ago. So,
wow.
Interesting development. It looks like one side clearly got better value there, but I'm not an owner for a reason. I don't know what was going on in their heads there, but this is one that I definitely could not have foreseen.
No, that threw everything off. I mean, you're gonna use your last pick to get someone who's picked a whole previous full round or 2 before you. I mean, in terms of the Chiefs, you got to say this is a genius move. I mean, you really can't think of a quite literal better value than doing what they just did. I don't know if the Eagles have a certain person in mind they're gunning for. I don't know if, like you said, maybe they accidentally picked Child Please. That seems like a weird thing to do on accident. So I wonder.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they just rushed it, got nervous.
So the Eagles, us Eagles, are still stuck with. We got 4 receivers and now 2 quarterbacks. So we need that quarterback. So they're about to take the last pick in the draft for a quarterback, it seems. So that's a very interesting choice as well. We'll see how that plays out for them.
Really interesting. I mean, maybe there's some turmoil going in their GM.
Maybe Child Please hit up that DM real quick, and he said, "Please, bro, get me out of here." Like, that's it. I'm out.
Maybe
Maybe.
they had issues there. Maybe Blanky in Ohio had some issues with
Oh,
one guy drafted the wrong guy and he wanted somebody else to play with him. So, but the pick is in, and they went with a man by the name of Deceased Sword for the
deceased
last
sword.
QBDL.
Quarterback DL. It did sound familiar. He was on the DL tier list, which makes sense. Another quarterback DL pair up, like you mentioned earlier. So
Mm-hmm.
deceased sword. Now, is that a rookie? Is that just someone an old head we're not super familiar with?
I believe it's a rookie. I'm not too sure. Maybe he's a sneaky good player. Maybe they drafted Child Please, hoping to get more value out of him from a different team that might have wanted him. It could have been a piece of trade bait. I'm not sure, but
Seems like
they
odd
got the
trade
guy they
bait at
wanted
the.
to round out the draft. And so now all these rosters are solidified. Deceased Sword was the final pick and Mr. Irrelevant. So who do you think, just off the cuff, who are your predictions for? Give me your top two and your worst two teams, looking at it from just a glance.
Top two, worst two. It's hard not to look at the Chiefs with Beastie, Abyss, Brady, Defeat, Fig, Smitty, Chubb. Like I think the Chiefs are certainly a great lineup. Sitting there looking at them now. Another lineup. Aside from the Eagles, I'm always gonna take the squad I'm on, ride or die. I'm not gonna be on a team and not fight to death to win every single game we're in. But taking that bias aside, I'll leave them out of it, and I will say I kind of hinted at liking the team at the team draft as well. I think the Cowboys have one heck of a lineup with Ace, Unknown, Crow, Accountant, Critical, Behe, G-Men. I think they have one heck of a squad there as well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm right there with you with the Chiefs. They're going to be a really good squad. But the Ravens are another really solid squad, but I'm just going to kind of take a shot in the dark here and say I think the 49ers drafted really well. I think the Niners,
49ers.
they got exactly what they wanted, all these skill players. I mean, Highwalker, Ibuprofen, Warpath, Painkiller, Brisket, Mallard, Hog Crazy. Like, I mean, every one of those names everybody knows for better or worse, but that's going to be a really solid squad and tough to beat. As far as my bottom team, I'm going to go with. Ooh, I'm gonna pick the Eagles just for to fuel the fire a little bit, so we can have some banter going forward.
All right, well, that was interesting because if I'm being completely honest, I was kind of thinking the Bucks seemed like a little bit of an odd combo there. Mainly just because a few players, Holiday Beast is new to the league, Shadow seemingly new to the league, not super familiar with him there. So nothing against. I mean, I think the Bucks are a sleepy, fun team to play as. I don't know if they quite have all the depth in the trenches that they're quite gonna need to pull off a long season run. But I think some of like the later picks, like you mentioned, they're rookies. They're joining the team. They still got a little bit of experience and growth to go through. I'm interested to see. I think they could easily jump up if those few late round picks excel expectations. They could sky up. But like as you mentioned with others, the floor is a bit deeper with them than some of the other more experienced lineups. And I don't think their roster, aside from Evans, really aside from like a DT and a wide receiver, I don't know if they really have the roster to fully carry a less than I don't want to say less than adequate, but a less than excellent squad. So I think the Bucks, you have some room to grow there. As
No,
do
I couldn't agree
as
more.
do the Eagles with the deceased sword, Jay Rugga, wide receiver there. We got some young players to kind of start to grow into as well. So
Yep,
I think
I
it'll
couldn't
be a
agree more. I
competitive
mean,
league for sure.
in our QB room, our QB room's weak. I mean, I if Mo's good at this game, that'll change that. But I know he has his ups and downs. I'm by no means a top tier quarterback. So that top line's really gonna have to put in the work and grab some wins while we kind of string ourselves together and figure ourselves out along the way. But yeah, I'm not mad at that. Other than that, though, thank you guys, everybody, for coming out, taking a look at us, watching the stream. Any good remarks, bad remarks, they're all welcome. Like we said, we got that weekly show coming. We're going to be unveiling a new trophy every week. That first trophy is just a mock up, is right in front of Jake right there. And going forward, any media that you have, just send it to Jake. Any ideas, anything, just go ahead and DM Minotaur on Discord, and we'll be sure to do what we can to accommodate.
Yeah. As he said, I think that just about wraps up the player draft. Are there any other important dates coming up? Things to be on the lookout for? like season start date, trade deadline dates, anything else that might be pertinent to players and owners as we kind of
Yeah,
round out the
so
preseason.
a lot of that stuff we're getting ironed out right here before the season starts on Sunday. Games are going to be at 8, 9, and 10 on Sundays, and then 9 and 10 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so we're going to get the schedule rolled out. We're going to get everything rolled out here over the next few days. But really just be looking in the VFL news tab for rules updates, anything like that that you might need to see. It's a good call that you had me say all that. So we're looking forward to getting the season started. All the rosters are solidified. Now it's just time to show up, play some games, and hopefully win some games.
Oh yeah, time to start the grind time. Look forward to, in my case, joining some of the Eagles players and kind of chatting over how we're moving forward. You and the Bucks and how your squad's moving forward. And yeah, so that sums up season 13 player draft. We would like to thank everyone for showing up here tonight, and look forward to seeing some viewership on the upcoming. We still have some tier lists to bump out before the weekly show, so we'll get the rest of those out this week leading up to the start of the season. Then starting Sunday, as he mentioned, will be the first of our weekly showcase. So, with that, thank you all and enjoy the start of the season 13 season. And that's about all. As soon as I can find this guy.